The idea of a lineal championship has always really fascinated me. If you know me, you know I'm a boxing fan, MMA fan. Both of those have a historical lineal champion. For example, Alexander Usyk is the current world heavyweight champion and lineal belt champion because he beat Tyson Fury, who beat Vladimir Klitschko, who beat Lennox Lewis, and so on and so forth. The history of this belt goes back to 1892 when John L. Sullivan became the first ever lineal and world heavyweight champion. The physical idea of a lineal belt is kind of hard to explain, but it's easy to kind of understand. But basically the belt goes on the line any time the team, fighter or person is competing. So team A holds the belt. Their next game they're going to put that belt on the line. They lose that belt to team B, and then team B will put it on the line for their next game, and so on and so forth. Sounds complicated, it's very easy in practice. That being said, this is the Lineal European League of Football belt. Can football have a belt? Now it does. Chapter 1. Warschau's inauguration. The first ever European League of Football game was played between the Warsaw Panthers and the Cologne Centurions on June 19th, 2021 at 6 p.m. Central European Time. Now that's important because I have deemed this the inaugural game, beating the Stuttgart Surge and Barcelona Dragons that played just 1 hour later.
The homegrown, homeborn Polish coach of the Panthers, and here's an interception. So the Panthers coming back into possession of the ball. They may be looking for more. It's not going to be a pick six, but it's things going here, 1st and 10. O'Connor looking for a strike right away, and the first touchdown of the European League of Football is a fact. Get the situation equalized for the Cologne Centurions. His first pass incomplete. In fact, it's a highway robbery. This will be a pick six, and the Panthers are on the board for the second time in the first quarter. Centurions 15 yards, and Farley's got a heck of a job to get himself a first down on this play, and he throws the ball directly into the Panthers defense. The third interception of the game, and that's ended up being a fumble, and this is going to be a touchdown for the Centurions. If there's no flags and if there wasn't a whistle, this scamper into the end zone is 28-yard line. London has some daylight, and he's going to go all the way into the end zone for a touchdown. Backs up against the wall. Ball floated into the end zone, caught, looking for a signal, and I'm going to assume it's a touchdown, but London off to the races. Track meet. Goodbye. Going to see Vine put to the test now. Good pass. The last play here up the middle is London once again. He's looking for daylight. He's found it. And once again, he finds the path to the end zone. Almost perfection. They left the table. There's Herndon. He may be up to the race. And he is nearly dragged down from behind. In this particular case, in the opening weekend of the European League of Football.
It was a high-scoring game, ton of legends making their presence on this one. Madrid London would go on to be an MVP in this league, but ultimately it was the interceptions that led to the Warsaw Panthers taking the win in this one. And it was, and still is, one of the highest scoring games in ELF history. It's still 10th all time, and it was the first ever game, which says a lot about the offensive output of this one. A single defense against the Leipzig Kings later, and that was the end of Warschau's first reign, giving it up to a dynasty.
And as you can hear, it even caught the officials off guard. So here's Williams. He goes down. He's not down by contact, so he can get back up. And then he dumps the ball off to D2 school. Found his way over to Europe. Bratislava, he's thrown an interception, and there's plenty of daylight ahead. And this is the first. 4 receivers to choose from. He'll choose the inner in the backfield. Fakes the jet sweep, keeps it himself, and it's a receiving score primarily to our side of the field. Connor looking through the middle and an interception. Ball's been picked off by Barnes, and Barnes looking for a lane, and he may have found it. Benjamin Barnes chased out of bounds, but not before. Sullivan with plenty of time, threw the ball flat-footed, and a touchdown. O'Connor throws another interception. This time it's Jacob Sullivan. O'Connor with a 3rd and 9. And he's delivered the ball up the field to Mazan. Mazan looking at the end zone. Touchdown, Pan.
Chapter 2, the Frankfurt dynasty. The Frankfurt Galaxy were the reigning and multiple-time defending lineal champions of the ELF, and they just kept on winning against the very best teams. Their hot streak went all the way to the ELF Championship game as the Lineal belt holder as well, and it was rather poetic that they would meet a team that they played so many times in NFL Europe in the final, the Hamburg Sea Devils. Now these teams have a lot of history, and the NFL Europe has a lot of history in itself, but for these two iconic franchises to meet in the final was possibly one of the best things that could have happened to both teams and for the history of the Lineal Championship and overall for the history of football in Europe.
The sneak and the touchdown for Jadrian Clark. And the second quarter. Lofted pass, first down to Adams. He's got room, he's got speed, and he has a touchdown for the first half. Over the middle, touchdown! Galaxy. Clark again time. Rolling right, throwing back toward the end zone. Up for grabs, and it's caught for the touchdown! Tight formation, back to pass Sullivan. Looking to the end zone, wide open for the touchdown! Will they try it again? They will, and they'll get in for the touchdown! Clark again! Inside 6 minutes to go. Pass in the flat, and that will go for the touchdown! It would make it a 7-point game. And the kick is no good! 3 wideouts for Sullivan. Just a 3-man pass rush. Over the middle, complete for the first down to Regler.
Und der Pass erfolgreich!
1st and 15 now. Sullivan looking right. He's got a man along the sideline. Big hit, but hanging onto the ball somehow was Regler, and now a targeting penalty forthcoming on the Sea Devils as well. 5 wide for Sullivan. Quick throw to the corner. It's caught for the touchdown! Hendrik Schwartz! Sullivan perfectly threading the needle past Elder Tariku into Schwartz. But there you can see he's clearly down about the 1-yard line. The replay review.
After further review, the play's reversed. The runner was down with his knee on the 1-yard line and touched by the defense. There's a 10-second runoff, first down.
Set up perfectly for as dramatic a finish as you could possibly have to this first ELF championship game. Quarterback sneak. He's in, surely, for the touchdown. How important this could have been. The pass over the middle, it's picked off. Oh, and look at this. Could we have a return touchdown? No, we won't. Oh, what amazing scenes that could have been. That would have, from his own half of the field to win the game from 62 yards. The kick is on the way. It's just short. It was on target, but Hamburg's hopes fall a couple of feet short. And with 1 second left, Frankfurt is going to win the first European League of Football championship game.
Now this game would go down in ELF history as one of the best of all time, 32-30 in favour of the Frankfurt Galaxy, becoming the first team to ever hold the ELF Championship and the ELF Lineal Championship. And it would be the crown jewel to the first dynasty of the Lineal Championship era. Chapter 3, The Fire's Reign. To open up the 2022 season, we saw the new team in ELF. Another former NFL Europe giant, the Rhein Fire, entering back into European American football. And they would have a lot of history with the Galaxy over the years, and they will continue to have a lot of history with the Galaxy in the coming years. The 29-26 game will go down as a classic.
Adam on the center, play fake, looks towards the end zone, and it is caught! Timothy Canoodle with the touchdown for the Fire. It's a huge bunch formation. He's keeping it, and does he get in? They say yes. In this shotgun formation, Adams off his right hip. Play fake. It is intercepted. Open field. There for the interception. And a pick six. In the shotgun. What receiver said, Adam. Dump off for him. And he's going to be able to offset eye formation. He's going to keep it and get in for a touchdown. That started also by that nice kickoff return by Murray. Quarterback sneak here. And yes, there it is. Here's the snap. Here's the hold. It is good. Good. So the Fire take a 29-26 lead here. Awaiting the snap. Surveying, sending up a prayer, and it is intercepted. There for that interception, that was Lassie Meyer.
And the Fire will go on to defend the belt against the Rams and Kings in comfortable victories that showcase the flashes of what was to come from the future of this team. However, one of the biggest fan favourite teams had sunk their claws in already.
The first loss for the new look Rhein Fire franchise in the European League of Football.
Chapter 4, Dragons Era. Now the fourth reign of the Lineal Championship was not the longest of them all, but it was definitely a cultural impact. The Barcelona Dragons were such a fun team, so many legendary players that were ultimately failed by bad management. And unfortunately the Dragons are not a team that exists in the European League of Football anymore. Their win in Germany provided a great look at what this team was about, and a single defense later against the Rams, they would drop it just a week later against the Vienna Vikings in a 20-27 loss.
Excuse me, this drive going. Erdmann from his own end zone steps up, unleashes deep, and it's caught! Boa, unbelievable! Can you dig it? Touchdown, Vikings, 90 yards, bang! Fourth down. They need 20 yards to keep the game going. Edwards can't get back to the line of scrimmage, can't find anyone at all, and goes down in a heap.
Chapter 5, Vienna's first stint. Every single team that's held the belt so far has registered at least one defense, and Vienna Vikings are part of that as well. They did their annual beating of the Raiders, beat the Surge as well in a shutout.
Dean, the end of our ball game, our final score, the Vienna Vikings getting the win on the road at the Stuttgart Surge.
But then 2 of their weeks were also bye weeks, giving them a weird stretch in the annuals of the Lineal Belt Championship. However, they would drop it just a week later, sinking to the Galaxy 42-8 in a dominant display.
Dominant fashion, 42-8 over the undefeated coming in Vienna Vikings.
Making the Galaxy the first ever 2-time Lineal Belt champions. Chapter 6, Old Kingdoms Require Old Kings. The belt would go into limbo following the Galaxy's win over the Vikings.
With 3 seconds left to win the game from 43 yards away. Snap is okay, the kick. It's got the distance and it's good! The Rhein Fire get the victory at the buzzer! And Jim Tomsula looks like he knew that was the plan all along. The ending of all European League of Football endings, Rene Hansen kicks the game-winning field goal, and the Rhein Fire's season is still very much alive.
They would make history again by being the first team to never defend their championship belt, defeated by the Rhein Fire 21-23, giving the Rhein Fire their second stint with the Lineal belt.
Empty set for Cunningham. Lets it fly. 50-50 ball. And I believe. And it is going to be a rushing touchdown for Cunningham. As Jansen finally picks it up. And there's a fumble. And it is picked up for a touchdown. 5 receivers in the pattern. Chest high snap. Beautiful blocking here by the line. Going through his progressions. Uncorks a deep pass towards the end zone. Touchdown! Dablin Wolf! Are you kidding me? In the party for the Fires, Cunningham is going to try to get a sneak inside. And I believe Kings 21. 4 receivers in the pattern. Clark, it's a quick slant and it is intercepted. No, it's incomplete. They say it's incomplete. Here's the replay. Yes, it did not touch the ground.
The ruling on the field is overturned. It was an interception. Inadvertent whistle. First down Leipzig at the 12-yard line.
Unbelievable. And there it is. The Leipzig Kings are going to win this game 34-31 and stun the Rhein Fire, who needed just at least a win and more.
A quick defense later against the Cologne Centurions, they would be massively upset by the Leipzig Kings, a team with no playoff intentions. Gabriel Cunningham had an outstanding game, and then a final drive interception sealed it for the Kings. Like the Dragons, the Kings were failed ultimately by management and are another team that has fallen by the wayside and is no longer part of the ELF. But they will forever be part of history as a Lineal belt holder and as the first team to ever hold the belt while not being in the playoffs. So statistically, they have one of the longest reigns in ELF history. Chapter 7, the Traveling Belt. The Kings did make it to the next season and did have a defense against the Prague Lions in an 18-15 victory. And again, this team had some phenomenal players. But the belt would go on a few different journeys over the next couple of weeks.
31-6 over the Leipzig Kings.
They jumped out to a third. The end zone is caught!
Is going to keep it and run in. Hackenberg is the last player that's
Intercepted.
Fire up to a perfect 10 and
Chapter 8, the Fire Dynasty. The Rhein Fire had a strong 2022 season, but the 2023 season was one of the best teams we've ever seen in Europe. The offensive unit was unanimously the best offense to ever grace the European League of Football. 2 defenses against the Guards and Galaxy later, they were heading to the playoffs with the Lineal Championship in hand.
Record-setting season. From the 38, here they go with play action. Clark looking back up top again. He's got his man in the end zone. Quofi, touchdown! Man, are they dangerous, aren't they? One of the luxuries that you have to be up on some of the weaker competition. Clark looking up top for touchdown. Number 52, he's got it. Touchdown, Rhein Fire. Touchdown, Quofi for number 2 on the day. Going to bring some more pressure again, they do. Sullivan under duress, the ball's intercepted. It's the second time in this ball game. Nieto down the sideline and is going to take it all the way for a score. What a back-breaking moment here in the closing minutes of the first half for Jacob Sullivan and the Frankfurt Galaxy. Play action here, Jadrian Clark looking up top again. That ball's complete to Kofi for the hat trick. He scores.
See if the Fire can get more points on the board. Pass down the field, a chance for the end zone. It's and off to Tunga. He's got space. Tunga's going to go the distance, and the Fire extend their advantage. Perch in as a fullback, but play action. Screen to Tunga. Beautiful play call. Tunga with the leap. Tunga stays on his feet, and Tunga goes all the way to the house.
They proceeded to curb stomp the rest of the league and got their first ever ELF championship while maintaining the Lineal belt, breaking the Galaxy's record and becoming one of the best teams to ever hold the belt without a shadow of the doubt. Going into 2024, it looked like they would never lose the belt. Until they did. Chapter 9. Madrid Pie.
Patterson in motion, the gift to Obi again. Trade's coming through. Dwayne Obi scores from their own 41-yard line. Clark dropping back, lofting, and it's intercepted. Bad to worse for Rhein. Jalen Embry on the return.
Hogs up front. Ready to get the first touchdown of the day for Rhein, and they do. It's taking 2 timeouts in this second half. Obi up the gut. Dwayne Obi continuing to power through. Dwayne Obi to the end zone. Touchdown, Bravos! Clark looking for his receiver again. It's picked off by Embry. 2 interceptions. The Bravos Matadors today, they came in to Oberhausen with a mission to take down the best. And Rip Scher's team did just that as they stomp out the Fire and end their 16-game winning streak.
The Madrid Bravos beating the Rhein Fire was one of the biggest sporting upsets that could possibly have happened. This was a championship level team against a team that just been formed this year that lost their quarterback before halftime due to injury. They managed to pull off the victory by causing turnovers and having one of the best run games in the league. A quick defense against the Cologne Centurions. They will be ready for a rematch against the Rhein Fire. A rematch that Rhein Fire took very, very seriously.
So because of all these run plays, this clock has been constantly going down. Tuga's got it almost brought down to the ground there, and he just finds room. Touch. To stop the Rhein Fire here. Comes off to number 6. Has a lane and has a touchdown. 14 in motion for the Bravos. Duncan is looking. They're going to use his arm. Just bumps off, and he's picked. And he's picked. A big man pick, and he's rumbling. Almost horse-collared. He's going. Oh, it's so close. So close to a big man. Touchdown. Obviously, Madrid are going to stack this. They need a stop here. 3 scores. Bit of a high snap. Handed off to Tunga. And spins in. 4th and goal. Rhein have got to go for it. Giving it to Tunga. Tunga jumps and just on the ball. Let's have a look at this. Just crashing down, snap, hit the floor. I can't see who that was that blocked it. I can tell you who recovered it. Number 31. Clark's looking, high ball out, looking for Quofi. What? That's like it was in their first game.
Chapter 10. All roads lead to Rhein. The 11 defense second reign of Rhein would then ensue. Following that game, they would then go on to win the trilogy against Madrid in dominant fashion. It was just win, and have to win.
Pass fires over the middle.
To win.
Touchdown!
To win. To win.
And he was not.
Before going on to have a classic against the Stuttgart Surge, which ultimately proved their resilience and was one of the games of the year.
Lingoa
Wing position. There's a blitz by the Fire, and the pass is intercepted. Oh my God, it is intercepted. And Omari Williams takes the ball into the Stuttgart half, and this is an absolute disaster for the Stuttgart Surge. Hennessy to the right side, the ball is fluttering a little bit. I don't know who it was intended for, maybe Steigerwald, who didn't run his route. Sebastian van Zanten, and he makes the kick. We're tied at 23. Hennessy, there's pressure. Good job pulling the football down, but then he throws the interception. Another interception by Riley Hennessy in the end zone.
Ruling on the field, it's an interception. This is the end of the Stuttgart possession.
Clark, play action. They really try to throw the football, and it is open, and Eichhorn gets his touchdown. And now there is no flag on the field, and this one is over.
This is the end of the game.
The Surge had a real chance to win this one. They just could not overcome the defense of the Rhein Fire. 2 late interceptions by Riley Hennessy, and they will go into the final.
With that kneel down, it is over. Time to celebrate for Rhein Fire. Yannick Seibel is already ready to party. Rhein Fire are European League of Football champions once again.
A final they dominated in, and they retained their Lineal Championship, as well as becoming the first team to win 2 ELF championships and 2 in a row. They opened up the 2025 season in a weird place. They defended in week 1 against the Paris Musketeers in a very tough back and forth battle on a late interception, but it's safe to say their season so far has been a weird one. Chapter 11, Fires put out in Austria. Final. I do think they'll be a heavyweight contender. However, I do not think it is three-peat season, Nick. I think they drop the ring. I think the championship is heading elsewhere in the ELF.
There we go. You heard it here first on Franchise Chat. Coming out of the FIBO in Cologne, Matt Bressington says the Rhein Fire will not three-peat. His words, not mine. I might agree. I won't tell you.
A 12-7 defensive showcase from both teams showed out, with Vienna ultimately coming out on top. And with a team as talented as this, you expect them to go on a long, arduous journey through the ELF, taking scalps and earning themselves their longest reign since the 2022 season.
5, and keep an eye on that clock sponsored by our good friends at Citizen Watches. It's just galloping along. Ooh, time has just stood still for Holmes, and things are looking very perilous indeed. How they can change in a second. Rhein Fire pick up a loose ball and run it back into the end zone for the touchdown.
They lost the rematch to Rhein Fire. But the Rhein Fire, a team that's just completed one of the longest reigns that we will ever see in any sports lineal championship reign, a team that is the best team in ELF history, ultimately coming back out on top to reclaim the lineal championship.
Jim Herman's had some big wins in his lifetime. Unfortunately, a few of them came against my Buckeyes, but this will be a good one today too. Chad Jeffries and crew will have to regroup.
The Raiders took the Fire into deep water with their signature run game of ground and pound. They tired out the Fire and drowned them, becoming the 14th lineal belt holder, the first of their history. And that's where we are today. The Raiders are still holders of the lineal championship belt. They do face the Munich Ravens, a team that has never won the lineal championship belt. And I'm just looking at my notes here because I've finished the video, so I'm allowed to do that now. They're coming out of a bye week. Mixed results for teams coming out of bye weeks. The Galaxy, Fire, Vikings, and Ravens have all won out of bye weeks, whereas the Fire and Viking twice and Madrid have lost on a bye weeks. There's not very much correlation. Cologne, Fehervar, Helvetic, and Prague have never won the lineal belt. Istanbul and Milan didn't when they were around either. So it's going to be interesting to see how they do against them. This was by far the longest project edited I've ever done on this channel, and I can't thank you guys enough. It's particularly Leipzig, where I got this idea from the Lineal belt. They've been tracking this since the first season. I made a slight adjustment to that, but without them this wouldn't be possible. This took forever to edit, as you can imagine. I'm quite a slow editor, so it was good fun. 1,500 words in a document, 40 hours of editing. It's really good fun. Thank you guys. See you next time. We are so fucking back after we finish this school. I told you we would have a big one. We have a big one. Let me know if the Raiders are going to do it. Let me know your favorite Rhein. I miss the Kings. I miss the Dragons. Thank you, everyone. I'll see you next time. Thank you. Again, I can't thank you guys enough. Goodbye. Chapter 10, all loads.